We're in the Toyota Harrier, the latest version from UMW. There's two specs. This is the luxury spec, which comes with a panoramic roof, ventilated seat, and a bunch of other features.
Shit, the seat's ventilated?
Yeah, they're supposed to be ventilated. I don't know how it works. You press the seat.
Oh, nice.
But I don't get lah.
No, you don't get. You suffer.
The boss doesn't get
two vents.
The driver gets, but the boss doesn't get. Oh.
Yeah.
First impressions?
2 years ago, we reviewed the hybrid version, and it was a grey market car. That was completely different. The complaints we had were it's too noisy.
It wasn't powerful.
It wasn't powerful. It felt like a very antique car. They actually gave us a chart here about why you should buy a UMW Harrier over a parallel import Harrier, and I think it makes sense. So basically, they spec this car quite high at UMW, but they also price it a bit high. First impressions, I didn't know what to expect, and within like 10 minutes of driving it, I was like, this is the car I want to grow up and buy and live with. The comfort is just phenomenal. The NVH is really good.
Yeah.
And the performance is like, I can't ask for more. This thing really flies when you ask it.
Correct. First impressions, the looks are so solo, but the thing that struck me the most was the interior, very soft material. You go into an Audi or BM or Mercedes, the things are quite hard. They're sturdy, but it's very hard. It's like you sit on a sofa, you know. Sometimes you just want to sit on a really soft sofa. But I mean, Continental cars, as luxurious as they are, it's like a very hard sofa with premium leather, and I can't really relax.
The sides of the sofa will have either hardwood or metal. Then your foot goes on it and hit the angle, pain. But then, you know, expensive sofa, so must respect it.
Yeah, and there's the stress of the expensiveness of everything. That's my first impression.
This is very pampering.
I mean, contextually speaking, it's in a very crowded room. Even though SUV consumer are on the rise. But the reality is there are so many players. There was a time when Harrier was the bomb, wasn't it? Yeah? Everybody who made it wanted one. Then after that car came the Eagle Eye Harrier that lasted forever. It lasted so long. It was
when it came out, I was 15 years old. When it ended, I was already married already.
And then Lexus came about. They divorced the range from Harrier. I think this is the Harrier that we get after that, isn't it? The RX is significantly larger. Whereas I feel that the Harrier shrunk a bit. I think they tried to recapture that premiumness that the original Harrier had, but it's still 2mm narrower than a CRV. Now that's not supposed to happen, because a Harrier is not a competitor of a CRV, isn't it? So we are talking about a CRV size car. It's no longer a class above CRV. I think they tried to compensate that by giving you very luxurious interior. When we first reviewed this car, I remember you were so infatuated with it, right?
I was. And I asked, why is it feeling better than a Continental car? I'm like, why? And then you mentioned it's like an Asian
lounge. You use the word
lounge. There's like a girl semi-naked holding a cigar. You're in a tower.
What Asian lounge is this? I've never been to it.
The UMW's response to delivering this car was a bit slow. But that being said, even the grey market didn't do very well. You don't see many Harriers around. There's something that's changed. I think a lot of this market has shifted towards the European cars. Those that are a bit more can afford, they would have gone up to the BMW and the Mercedes, Audi. There is a lot that went down as well, because you have cheaper product that is comparable. CX-5, CRV. You kind of pull apart the Harrier dominance and the monopoly that the Harrier had. So what you're looking at here is it's like a last-ditch effort of Toyota trying to grab back that position. But that position doesn't exist anymore. And that's a problem. It was a memory of a past that will never come back again. And that's what I see in this car. To make it worse, 2 years ago when we first sat into this car, I was very infatuated as well. I see a lot of Lexus curve and lines, but it's aged a little bit, to be honest. Well, but that's my first impression. It was a bit of a melancholy because I really wanted to like this car. When it first came out, I was thoroughly infatuated with it. I think we go into performance first. The last one we drive was hybrid, right?
It was loud.
It was
so loud.
The tyre noise was very loud. Maybe
very
the choice of tyres. Now here it's quieter. It's much more powerful. It has 230 PS horsepower.
340 Newton meter of torque. It's a powerful car, isn't it?
So this is like a T5 Volvo.
Wow. So they have checked the boxes that was not checked before. It has the power when you need it. It's not very sporty, but the power is there. You step on it, it will go.
Performance, I'm actually very happy with this car. Because anybody who's spending more than 200,000 is going to say, I can get a 3 Series.
Correct.
I can get a BMW, I can get a Mercedes-Benz. Yeah. This is where the wisdom of uncles come.
Your uncle thesis.
The uncle thesis must come up with a 2,000 word dissertation. uncles were laughed at for decades. People with very little money will come and say, why are you spending your money on things that don't excite me? But I think they have a point. Because when you are at that stage, why should you want discomfort in your life?
You don't want excitement. You want...
Excitement is a temporary thing. It's just your hormones.
Your testosterone.
Yeah, exactly. So the uncle understands this and says, I'm going to be living with this car for another 5 years.
Why should I suffer the consequences of being excited?
And when I got into this car and I started whacking it and driving it over bumps and all, I realized like this is what the uncle wants. This is exactly what he wants. It is fast. The speedometer says 180 and the official max speed is 180. But that is not the real. And the impressive thing about this engine is when I pushed it all the way to its maximum speedometer speed.
The Nürburgring.
And I looked at the RPM meter and it was going about 3,000. And I realized that it only redlines at 6,000. So when I asked it to go, push to 6,000, it actually did open up a bit more. But then it has an electronic cutoff. Performance-wise, I think speed, it really has it. Of course, the delivery is not insane. It's not like it's not a performance car.
It's close to. It's very scary when you step on it.
You don't realize how fast you're going because also in point number 2, the NVH is really good.
Quite good, yeah.
So, I mean, not S-Class level, but all the tyre noise we were complaining in the grey market.
It's not here.
In the grey market model, we had so many complaints about the noise. Here, it's so dampened and you don't even hear the engine pushing itself. The 2-litre turbo engine, I think, is tuned to deliver very smoothly and without sending a lot of harshness into the cabin. And third point, I think the comfort, very sublime. I think tuned a bit too much towards comfort because when you start going a bit fast and you start turning and all that, then you realize, oh man,
I think the CX-5 handle a lot better.
The CX-5 not so comfy.
No.
If you're just an everyday driver, right, and you're sick of your Camry, or you're sick of your Accord, you can go up to this and just say, you know what, I retired this, it's fine.
I just want to add on this. If you're thinking of buying the 2-litre non-turbo Harrier, forget it. Because there are a lot better options. Fundamentally speaking, if you're a person who drives a Camry, I think you are the target market actually. The reason why this is so is because this car, to me, a car has to have power. It doesn't necessarily mean horsepower. It means that it must have power to carry its own weight. The reason why is because if you do outstation driving, you need to overtake. Power is important. Now, how you deliver this power determines whether your car is sporty or not. So for example, a BMW, generally not necessarily more powerful than a Mercedes, but it's very sporty as opposed to a Mercedes-Benz. This car has more than enough power. How it delivers this power is definitely what Subhash said, very comfort tuned. It is not sporty, not an ounce of sportiness at all. So in a sense, if you're a Camry driver and you felt that your Camry has always been a little bit sluggish, this is the perfect car. Because it solves that sluggishness.
It's higher. Old people like high cars.
Yeah, it gives you comfort, high class feel, power when you need it, delivery is smooth when you don't need to step on it.
Design.
Very, very bland for me. Nothing, no Lexus feel, nothing. Only thing Lexus about this car is the NVH. The design has nothing of Lexus to it.
This is the hazard light built into the clock.
Oh, not very nice. But I suppose upmarket Toyotas are always like that. You look at the Toyota Crown, compared to the Lexus ES, it doesn't feel as modern. The design is very conservative. The dashboard is very squarish. Whereas the Lexus has some twist and turn and twirl, and it's like the new modern language. So I guess it's a Toyota thing lah. They decided to go two separate ways lah. The upmarket Toyota, they want to go conservative Japanese old businessman, CEO, executive. Whereas the Lexus is like, I'm American, I want modern design, Well,
I don't know whether I disagree or agree with you, but I like that because I mean, the more daring you are with design, the more you will outdate when the trend moves forward. A conservative design language actually allows a car to be kept longer while looking fresh. They know what they're doing, it's just that they're not speaking to you. And I like that because I don't want a person to impress me on purpose. I want to be impressed by the essence of a product. And generally, to be impressed, you need a lot of attention to it. And the way Japanese does things is they pay attention to design language, the ergonomics, and I quite like it actually.
I do have some complaints which I have to address. Piano black, I mean, this is something the whole industry is doing. I hate it so much.
Stupid.
Within 1 day of using this car, it's covered in dust.
But I don't know if there's a place, for example, for a young guy in this car. I guess you can slowly age into your 60s in this car. As a young guy, you need to impress a girl to let her marry you first, right? And
no, but it's a good test. The girl that sees stability as a good point is somebody you should appreciate. The one that gets turned off by this car, you should not bring home.
We talk about value now, because you're right, that it won't appeal to young people.
For the price tag, I would say if I was a buyer, I would go for CRV CX-5.
Save for 70,000.
CRV more comfort, CX-5 more handling and zoom lor, but still can pick up family. This car, if I buy the base model CRV, and this car is about 80-90k difference. So that's huge. That's two Myvis. That's two Myvis. I can have two kids with two Myvis and one CRV, you know?
It's a major
It's a
gap.
big difference.
And like you guys said, you know, the size is like CRV size. It's just more premium material. So value side, not so much value lor. But I like the soft touch. I like all the premiumness, the Asian premium feel. I want to drive around in this car if I don't have to pay for it.
I find the car it's expensive lah. In a receding market, your existence is difficult to justify. To be honest, CRV offers 85% of whatever you offer. That 15%, is it justified for this extra 60 to 80k? It's, to be honest, very hard to justify. That's 30% more. 15% difference in feel, 30% more in price. Very difficult to justify. That's all I can say.
I have to start a new thesis.
Oh, this is...
But it's probably part of the under subcategory of the uncle thesis. You see, with every tier of pricing you are, every 10,000, every 20,000, for most cars, not the non-national cars. So Honda City going to Honda Civic, Civic to Accord, you are getting tangible returns with the extra money you spend. It's either bigger space, better perceived value, bigger engine, more power, all those things. And I think the Harrier, even though it is a bit expensive, I think this is the ultimate tier in terms of how much value you can extract out of a car.
Okay.
Because if you spend more than $250,000 ringgit on a car, I doubt you're going to see any additional value.
It's true.
Unless it's a statement car.
Yeah, because GLC is what, 300 plus.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not that much better than...
It's just a perceived thing, you know, like the badge and all that.
I see.
Whereas this one is like, it's still a Toyota. You're not buying it to show off. You're buying it to reward yourself.
You have a point.
You've gone up all the tiers. You've gone up to Accord tier, to Camry tier, and all that. You don't need an Alphard. What's the next tier you can go to?
Before you start splurging on things that you cannot... It's non-tangible value.
Before you start paying for the badge. And once you start paying for the badge, you're touching 300,000. So I think I can kind of see the case for this one.
I agree with you in that sense. Wow, you put a very convincing case that a lawyer training will put to work.
You're complimenting yourself. You trained me to be a lawyer and then you compliment
It's true because you have changed the perspective, because you have now said this is tangible value maximum tier. Anything above this is intangible value, becomes very subjective. A lot of people go out there and say a Mercedes-Benz GLC 300,000 is value, or 280,000 is value. But heck, that is still a full 40,000 more expensive than this car.
And it may not be as big as some other cheaper cars.
It's not as big as this car, and it's not as powerful as this car, and probably drives similarly as this car.
Plus, you're going to pay a lot in terms of resale value and in terms
Maintenance.
of maintenance. Yeah, exactly.
It's more difficult to live with. So in that sense, if you are totally oblivious to brand, and you are talking about tangible value, this is the ultimate product. You're right. Agree.
If you throw in just like every other car, then the Toyota Crown, a 3-year-old Toyota Crown is 150k.
I know, right? A 10-year-old Mark X is 40k. Holy sh**. I feel like going out there and get one. Wow, that's a deep one. We did a thesis on Toyota Harrier. Unclehood and perceived value.
Okay, Autophiles signing out of a Toyota Harrier.
Toyota Harrier, man, great stuff.
Because most people go out for 3 Series, let's face it, like, there's a lot of problems in it, you know. But people foresee that, they forego all this. They decide not to see, and everybody collectively just say, oh, this is such a good car.
And they complain personally to me and my boss, but they don't want to write in. They don't want their names, they don't want their car.
Why?
It's like that. You spend money on a brand, you don't want
my friend with a Land Rover also, I asked him got problem or not, he said no. He said no, I don't believe him, but then, you know. He said no, but no.